jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Śrīmad Nitya Tadiya Shubha Tirova Titi ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirova Titi ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki. Nitya Lila Pravishta Mahabhagavat Śrīla Gorakṣaras Babaji Mahārāja. Nitya Lila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaiṣṇava Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugagoria Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhattadash Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Braja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Bhadata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Kartik Vrat ki jai. Shri Damodar Vrat ki jai. Radha Damodar ki jai. Yashoda Damodar ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tadiya Viraha Mahotsav ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Pradyumna Prabhu, and Mantra Murti Mataji, and whoever else that is watching. Dandavat Pranams. So, I'm a little bit spacey right now because I'm just starting to get better from being sick. And so just letting you know why, if I'm a little slow. But I want to read about, there's this book here, A True Servant, True Master, filled with all of Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's books. And in the beginning of this, there is a section of from two classes of my Gurudev, a glorification of Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and he also goes through his whole life a little bit. And then at the end of this book, there's a section which goes through just like a brief life history. It's very beautiful. And then the last section is, it goes through the 26 qualities of a Vaiṣṇava, and it shows a little pastime showing how Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja exemplified each one of those qualities. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to get through everything because it's quite a lot, but we'll just see how far we get through in an hour from now. Yeah. Hari Bol Shri Mataji. All right, so I'll share my screen and we can begin. Yeah, I'll check in half an hour. Sorry, I'll check in an hour and I'll ask you guys if I should keep on going. So remembering Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, whose disappearance day it is today. Compiled from Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja's lectures on the appearance day of Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, given on 29 December 1991 and 6 January 1994. What is Vyas Puja? What is Vyas Puja? In a general sense, the full moon day that comes in the month of Ashad, that's June, July, is called Guru Purnima, and it is the appearance day of Śrī Vyasadeva. So everyone offers Puspanjali at his feet on that day. This is observed in our sampradaya and in many other sampradayas as well. One second, I forgot to check the sound. Haribo Madhavi Didi Dandavat Pranams. Okay, sounds right. Good. In our sampradaya, those who sit on the seat of Śrī Vyasadeva and preach and practice the message of Śrīmad Bhagavatam are acharyas. On the acharya's appearance day, the worship he himself performs of his own guru and the guru parampara is called Vyasa Puja. Vyas Puja does not mean that the guru seeks to accept worship from his disciples and followers. Rather, on his birthday, he worships his own Gurudev, as well as the Vaishnavas, the Guru Parampara, and his worshipful deities, Śrī Śrī Radha Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is called Vyas Puja. Look at the example of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, or more recently, as you all must have seen, our worshipful Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. On his appearance day, he would worship all the Vaishnavas and Vrajvasis who came. He would give them garlands, tilak, and fresh clothes. He would even give garlands and so much honor to those who are on the level of his disciples, the disciples of his godbrothers like myself. And for those of you who don't know, Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī is the Guru Maharaj of Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Bharati Gosvāmī Mahārāja and Bhakti Ballabhatirtha Gosvāmī Mahārāja. So, if this manner of conduct is not taught, then as we see today, people just think, oh, Guru Puja, Vyas Puja means my disciples will worship me. This is the opposite of puja. This is not puja. Surely, even if the disciples see this misdirected sort of puja, they will at least learn to worship their guru. They should certainly perform puja of their guru. Otherwise, problems will come. But if the guru himself does not set an example of worshipping his own guru and his guru varga, then what kind of puja will all his disciples learn to perform? In Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11:17-27, it has been said, Acharya mam vijaniyan. Know the guru to be me, my own swarup. Krishna himself is saying, Srila Jiva Goswami writes in his commentary that even the ordinary fruitive worker, the karmi, is advised to see his guru, also a fruitive worker, as the form of Bhagavan. So what then to say of pure Vaishnavas? In regard to them, we have statements like Yasya Prasadar Bhagavat Prasado and Shakshad Dharitvena Samasta Shastra Ruktas Tatha Bhavyata Eva Sadhvi. They are the Ashray Vigraha. We have two main Ashray Vigrahas. One is Baladev Prabhu and the other is Srimati Radhika Ji. Both issue forth from Krishna, one in the form of Sandhini Shakti and the other as Hladini Shakti. Krishna himself is Chit Sarup, from where both issue forth and then come together. One channel comes from Baladev Prabhu and the other from Srimati Ji. One who serves Shri Radha Krishna under that guidance and teaches how to attain that service is an acharya. A guru who does not teach service of Shri Shri Radha Krishna is not really a guru. If one has bhakti for Bhagavan, it does not even matter if one does not have full knowledge of Shastra. If one is expert in all the scriptures but has no realization of Bhagavan, Bhagavad Anubhuti, then he is not an actual guru. Realization of Bhagavan is essential. If Shri Shri Radha Krishna are not in a person's own heart, how can that person seat them in the hearts of others, his disciples? How can he do that? Therefore, to be equipped with realizing Bhagavan is the main characteristic of Guru, while knowledge of scripture and other things are secondary characteristics. Many people go in the direction of scriptural knowledge and do not give attention to realization of Bhagavan. In such cases, even such persons are referred to as guru. Even though such persons are referred to as guru, there is not much real benefits to be had in becoming their disciple. The primary characteristic of having gurutva is to have realization of Bhagavan. And what sort of Bhagavad Anubhuti should that be? This is where the speciality of our sampradaya lies. If a person is fully ripened, matured in his understanding of Srila Rupa Goswami's conceptions, and if he has that kind of realization of Bhagavan, then he is truly a guru within our sampradaya. The greatest ambition. Just checking the comment, 1 second. Okay. The greatest ambition. Service to Guru must be performed in a way that is Vishrambha, endowed with perfect intimacy and trust. In order to become Vishrambha, we have to rise to the level that our Gurudev is on. In order to perform puja of Bhagavan, one must become like Bhagavan, as said in the Tantras, Devo Bhutva Devam Yajet. One must obtain divine status to worship that which is divine. So, to serve Guru, we must come very close to his conceptions, his vichar. We will have to understand his conceptions and what he wants. That is why it is said that one cannot worship a deva, a godly personality, if one is not a deva. Likewise, without comprehending the conceptions of Guru, one cannot truly serve Guru. And that's from Gandharva Tantra 9.2, Nyasas tadatmako bhutva devo bhutva tutang yajet. Okay. Hence, if one can serve in that Vishramba manner, with intimacy and trust, then Guru becomes pleased. And then what happens? What do the members of our Guru Varga want? They want to attain the service of Srila Rupa Goswami's foot dust. This is the highest aspiration. Others may want to cross over this ocean of material existence. Some want moksha, liberation. Some want Vaikuntha. Some Dwarka, etc. Some want to follow Subal and Sridham. Some want to follow Yashoda and Nanda Baba. And some want to follow in the footsteps of the Sakis. What did Prabhupada Srila Saraswati Thakur say all the time? Ada danas trinam dantar idam yache puna puna Śrīmad Rupa padam pujo dhuli syam janma janmani. And that verse is from Dan Keli Chintamani 175 and Mukta Charita of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. So Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he would say this verse, he would say, and it means, clutching a straw between my teeth, I repeatedly pray to become but a particle of dust at the lotus feet of Śrīmad Rupa, birth after birth. It is my understanding that for the jiva, this is the most beautiful and topmost desire, and it surpasses even prayers to attain the service of Śrī Śrī Radha Krishna. Any greater ambition than this? What does it mean to be Rupa? Among all sampradayas, our Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya has one speciality expressed by the words Nikunjayu no ratikeli siddhai yayali viryuktirapekshanīya tatrati daksha rativalabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. Shri Guru is very dear to Śrī Śrī Radha Krishna because he is very expert among the Sakis and arranging the pastimes of the divine groves of Vrindavan. There is not such extensive and variegated service of Śrī Śrī Radha Krishna's pastimes in any other sampradaya. The Guru's Gurutva, the quality of being Guru, depends on this alone. Look at earlier verses of Guru Vashtak, like Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nritta Gita. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur takes us through a steady progression. Guru also personally performs Archan and Pujan of Thakurji, Shri Vigrahara Dhana Nityanana. It starts there and ends up at Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddhai. This is the Gurutva of Guru. One who cannot give these teachings cannot be called a Rupanuga Vaishnava or Guru. What does Rupanuga mean? By the inspiration and mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Rupa Goswami wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjvala Nilamani, Vidagdha Madhav, and Lalit Madhav. Those who follow what he wrote are not necessarily Rupanuga. They may be Rupanuga. They may be in the moods of Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and even Madhurya. But what does it mean when we say Rupanuga? Who is Srila Rupa Goswami internally? Externally, he is the associate of Sriman Mahaprabhu, and internally, he is Rupa Manjari, the eternal companion of Shri Radha Krishna. Rupa Manjari's personal service. How does she serve the divine couple? She serves as a Pranasaki, a Manjari, as one who is Radha Pakshiya, favoring Srimati Radhika. She serves Yugal Kishore, Radha and Krishna both. But where is her absorption? Where is her inclination? It leans towards Shri Radhaji. Krishna will also summon Rupa Manjari. Both Radha and Krishna will be standing there and calling to Rupa Manjari. But who will she go to? Straight to Srimati Radhika. This is Rupa Manjari. If Krishna loses a game, all the Sakis clap. But she is the first to clap for Srimati Radhika. And she teases Krishna. What is that? Vagyudake likutuke vajarajasunam jitvam adamati katarpa vikashi jalpam. That was written by Rupa Goswami, talking about how the Sakis clap in joy when Srimati Radhika wins Krishna. In a battle of words. Vagyuda. This is why Srila Raghunath Das Goswami sings praises with verses like Tvam Rupa Manjari Sakhi Pratita Puresmin. O Rupa Manjari, you are well known in the town of Braj. And yeah, anyways. That's Vilap Kusmanjali, verse 1. So what does Rupanuga mean? One who follows Srila Rupa Goswami's achar, conduct, and vichar, conceptions exclusively, who knows the service he renders in his eternal sarup, his sarup gata seva, and who grants his disciples the desire, or aspiration to serve in that same way, is a Rupanuga acharya. This is our sampradaya. First, long ago, Shri Naradji came and gave service in the mood of Dasya Ras. Other great acharyas have also come. Even incarnations of Bhagavan have come. But they could not even approach the vicinity of what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in a natural and spontaneous manner, infused Srila Rupa Goswami's heart with all of what he came to give. Mahaprabhu infused Rupa Goswami's heart with all of. Where did he do this? In Prayag first, and in Puri. One who can take those moods of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into his heart and convey them to the hearts of his followers is truly one of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas. It is for this reason that Srila Prabhupada referred to Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur as Mahavadanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Maha, but Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, who distributed what he came to give in a brand new on a brand new golden platter. Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, he distributed what Mahaprabhu came to give, on a brand new golden platter. What then is Srila Prabhupada like? What did he do? He revealed Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, as well as the whole Guru Parampara, Śrīman Mahaprabhu, and Śrī Śrī Radha Krishna. Those who reveal to us a personality such as Srila Prabhupada are truly revered. We are so fortunate to have taken birth close to the time of Srila Prabhupada's associates. I came not long after. Yet it is my misfortune that I could not take what Srila Prabhupada gave. All his associates took that. Pujapad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Mahārāja is one of those associates. Our fortune is that we could have the association of those who received Srila Prabhupada's instruction. If we can grasp their conduct and conceptions and enter the realm of Bhagavad Bhakti, then we will be greatly fortunate. Pujapad, one second. Haribo Rukmini Didi, Dandavad Pranams. Pujapad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Mahārāja's early life in the Mat. Srila Prabhupada was in the Swarupanuga Guru Parampara, and he had many associates. In a very short time, they preached throughout the whole world the message that was practiced and preached by Sriman Mahaprabhu. Of them, my Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Śrī Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja was foremost. And he, Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, is his foremost disciple. Some identify with their families, with their mothers and fathers, but his identity was as a disciple of our Guru Maharaj. His mother was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Her name was Srimati Bhagavati Devi. Was a disciple. You want to see a picture of Srimati Bhagavati Devi and Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja? Let me just find it. One second. There. There's Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja and his mother Bhagavati Devi. And I think probably soon after this time is when Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was given into the hands of my Param Gurudev. Okay, so her name was Srimati Bhagavati Devi. His father was a disciple of our Guru Maharaj. Almost everyone else in his family, his father and most of his uncles, was a disciple of Guru Maharaj. His mother, however, had taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada before any of them. She entrusted Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja into the care of our Guru Maharaj at a very young age. Wow, so Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja in a way was senior to his father because Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was a disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj was like his father, and Shri Narahari Prabhu, known as the mother of the Gaudiya Math, raised and nurtured him. Even if some of the boys wet their beds at night, Narahari Prabhu would clean it up. He would make sure they all got to bed on time, and then he would wake them up in the morning and bring them to Mangalarti. He fed them and taught them how to read and write. He took care of everyone very lovingly. That is why there were so many people in the Math back then. People will only be attracted to Guru if he gives them more love than they receive from their families and the rest of the world. Therefore, Guru has to be loving like this. Then he can attract everyone. Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja's childhood name was Santosh. Actually, might be a good time since we're reading about Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu. I just posted this on Facebook like at 12:30 this morning. We just published it for the first time. One second, where is it? Facebook. Let me just find it. Here. Okay. Narahari Prabhu would gently shake me awake. This is a memory from somebody named B.V. Siddhanti Maharaj, who was previously Patit Pavan Prabhu. He's a disciple of Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Mahārāja. Okay. An example of how to conquer the heart of Guru and Vaishnavas is of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Every day at midnight, Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu would awaken the Sevak Santosh from his sleep. So this is when he was just a little boy. And Srila Guru Maharaja's words, I would be quietly and gently shaken awake, and I'd understand that Narahari Prabhu had come. Immediately rising from bed, I had put on a gamsha and followed behind him to the many toilets, one toilet after another. Narahari Prabhu would hold the torch, and I would take a broom and a bucket of water and clean each toilet. At that time, there was a latrine pit system. I used to empty the toilet pit filled from the previous day and throw all the stool to the designated place far away, cover it with dirt, and return. Then, after taking bath, I would rest a little. This was my daily service, and I would do it before all the Vaishnavas arose. This special type of Guru Seva performed by Srila Narottam Thakur was performed by our Guru Maharaj daily during the time he lived in Śrī Chaitanya Math. That was during the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada. See, even from that early age, he was doing that kind of service daily. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaja's childhood name was Santosh. He was originally from the Khulna district, but he was raised here in the Gaudiya Math. Guru Maharaj enrolled him in the Bhaktivedānta Institute. Guru Maharaj taught him everything. He would give Santosh a lemon juice candy for every verse he memorized, so he would memorize up to a dozen verses or more a day. He lived in the ashram at Śrī Chaitanya Math and went to school there at the Bhaktivedānta Institute next to Yogapit. There were many other boys who went to school with him, but none of them remained brahmacharis or took sannyas. Most of them left. A few remained. From childhood, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj had a profound love of learning, but he also served. He would set plates for everyone, set their asans, put salt and lemon on their plates, sweep and clean after prasad, bring everyone drinking water for the day, and also cut and prepare the vegetables for cooking. This is one of the main services in a Vaiṣṇava temple, cutting vegetables. He was so quick at cutting vegetables, you cannot imagine. You would look away for a moment and chop, chop, chop. He would be done. And every piece would be the exact same size, nothing too big or too small. Hare Krishna Gargaraj ji. Accepting Diksha. After Srila Prabhupada entered his unmanifest pastimes, conflicts ensued amongst the devotees of the Gaudiya Math. The opposing party filed false charges against our most worshipful Srila Gurudev and 40 of Srila Prabhupada's senior respectable disciples, including Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu, Sri Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Pujapad Bhakti Kushal Narsingha Maharaj, Pujapad Paramahansa Maharaj, and Pujapad Rishikesh Maharaj, and had them all thrown in prison. Wow, that's a lot of people, 40 of the senior disciples of Prabhupada. Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu also, I didn't know about that. It was Sri Santosh who would bring the case files to the lawyer and go to court, as well as cook prasad and bring it to the jail for all 40s. And remember, this is when he was very young. Well, okay, he was born in 1921, the same year as my Gurudev. My Gurudev was born in the beginning of the year, and he was born at the end of the year in 1921. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he entered Nitya in what year was it? Is it 1933 or something? So anyways, maybe Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was just barely a teenager, maybe like 13 years old, I'm guessing. I don't know, I'm not good at math. But, Guru Maharaj imparted Diksha mantras to him at that time and gave him the name Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari. But he could not perform his Upanayam Samskar, or sacred thread ceremony. Pujapad Jajavar Maharaj performed Śrī Sajan Sevak Brahmachari's Upanayam Samskar sometime later at Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta in Medinipur. Some say that Śrī Sajan Sevak Brahmachari accepted Harinaman Diksha from Pujapad Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Maharaj. But the truth is that he received Harinam from Jagat Guru Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtutara Shatashi Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Goswāmī and Diksha from my Guru Pad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Refuting misconceptions about the Sampradaya. Śrī Sajan Sevak Brahmachari also lived for some time in Śrī Shyamananda Gaudiya Math. Śrī Anantaram Brahmachari, later Pujapad Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj, was also there. Around that time, some serious controversy arose in Vrindavan, as some so-called Goswamis and Babajis were saying that there are more than 4 Sampradayas, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not in the line of Madhvacharya, and that he established the Gaudiya Sampradaya himself, that Mahaprabhu is the 5th Sampradaya. In order to compose a proper essay refuting these claims, the references for 2 particular verses were needed. One of these verses was Sampradaya Vihinaye Mantraste Nishvala Mata Ata Kalo Bhavishyanti Chatvara Sampradayina. Unless one has been initiated in a Sampradaya by a bona fide guru, the mantra received will have no effect, and in the age of Kali, there will only be 4 bona fide Sampradayas. This is found in the Prameya Ratnavali 1.5. Prameya Ratnavali, that's Baladeva Vijabhushan, right? Yeah, so that's Baladeva Vijabhushan, he quotes that, and that's quoted from Padma Purana. The other verse is Janmana Jayate Shudra Samskarad hi bhaved dvija Veda patat bhaved vipra Brahma janati brahmana. By birth, everyone is a Shudra. One becomes a Dvija twice born upon receiving spiritual purification, samskar, from a spiritual master. By studying the Vedas, one becomes a Vipra. The real Brahman, however, is one who knows Brahma. This verse is originally from the Atreya Samhita, but is also found in the Skanda Purana. In order to find the proper references for these 2 verses and write that crucial rebuttal, the 2 brahmacharis, Śrī Sajan Sevak and Śrī Anantaram, went to the local king's impressive library in Mahishadal, near the town of Medinipur. They stayed there for several days, combing through many books until they found the required references. While there, they took the opportunity to also read a great many Gaudiya Vaishnava scriptures, as well as various Upanishads and Puranas that were available in that library. I heard a memory of, we'll probably translate it, of Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, that he was staying somewhere with his Guru Maharaj and there was a library and he was allowed entrance into that library. Like, I guess he had a key or something. And so he would, Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj noticed that Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja would disappear every day late at night. And he wouldn't see him until the next morning. And so Srila Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj, he's like, well, this Santosh is like the most pure, he has the most pure character that anybody could possibly have. Like, he couldn't be doing something nefarious in the middle of the night. And so then he went and asked him, like, where do you go in the middle of the night? What are you doing? And then Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj said, I'll tell you, I'll show you. And so then one day in the middle of the night, late at night, Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj, he got Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj, and he brought him to the library. And he went inside the library, and he was just reading all throughout the night, all the way till morning time. And then before Mangalarti, or whatever time, he'd go back to the mat, and not the mat, wherever wherever they were at that time. And so he literally didn't sleep the whole night. But Srila Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj said that he just fell asleep there at the table or something like that. Anyways, we'll share that memory soon. his exceptional life as a brahmachari. In 1940, some years after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Pad Padma established Śrī Vedanta Samiti at Boshpara Lane, Kolkata. Śrī Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari there at that time, as was Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Mahārāja. And in 1943, when Guru Maharaj established Śrī Devananda Gaudiya Math and Śrī Navadip Dham, Śrī Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari was with him there also. He performed all types of service for Guru Maharaj, including cooking for him. And when Guru Maharaj would leave to preach in the cities and towns on either side of the Śrī Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari would accompany him as his prominent assistant and servant. Once some Vaiṣṇava guests arrived at the Samiti Center in Kolkata. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj had a fever of 104 degrees, but there was no one else to cook for them. Guru Maharaj woke him up. What? You're sleeping? You have a fever? Get up quickly. Vāmana Maharajji came and cooked with a fever of 104 degrees. Guru Maharaj told him, do everything you have to do here first, then rest. If some guests arrived here right now, would anyone who is ill with a high fever like this do this? No one else would have been able to get up on his feet in that condition. During our Guru Maharaj's time, Vāmana Maharajji and I stayed with each other a lot. We and one or two others used to go preaching together with Guru Maharaj in Medinipur, Chobis Pargana, and so many other places, so we had time to get to know many things about each other. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj told us how he got stuck in the flood in Mayapur. He had taken a boat out into the river, when suddenly a strong current came and swept his boat and him away. It was a very precarious situation. Somehow or other, he caught hold of a tree and brought the boat over to it. He then noticed that the tree was full of snakes. They had no place to go, so they had sought refuge in the tree. There were snakes everywhere. It was very risky, especially since one of the snakes could have fallen on him. Nevertheless, he said he had to just cling to the tree, chanting Bhagavan's names, and after a while, some people spotted him and rescued him. He used to wear wooden shoes. If he had to pick flowers from a tree, he would climb the tree wearing his wooden shoes. He could even climb bale trees in them. I used to wear wooden shoes too when I first came, and would walk 4 or 5 miles in them. But he was more accustomed to it than I. He would back and forth to Kolkata in those shoes. People nowadays cannot imagine how austerely we lived then. We would be engaged in service day and night, and all the responsibility for the mat was on Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj. Guru Maharaj would be out preaching. Vāmana Maharajji was put in charge of the press and Chunchura, and started printing Śrī Gaudiya Patrika. That's the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti's monthly magazine. Guru Maharaj's order, he printed many books like Jaiva Dharma, Navadip Bhav Taranga, Gaudiya Giti Gucha, Navadip Shatakam, Navadip Dham Parikrama, Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita. As I mentioned, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj came to the mat at a very young age during Srila Prabhupada's time in 1930. I came at the end in 1946, when Vāmana Maharaj had already been serving Guru Maharaj for 16 years and hearing his teachings. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj is very senior. He is like Kakapushundi. The footnote. Kakapushundi, an immortal sage and devotee of Sri Ramachandra who accepted the form of a crow, witnesses Bhagavan's pastimes across infinite eons. Okay. I have been under the shade of his feet for the last 45 years. Everything I needed, he provided. He was the Pandari, the storehouse manager then. He cared for me in every respect, supplying me with cloth and whatever else I needed. He always showed me much affection, and I came to regard him as my Shiksha Guru. Taking sannyas. Later, in 1952, Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja took sannyas along with Pujapad Trivikram Maharaj and me. At that time, all three of us expressed that we did not feel qualified to take sannyas. First, Vāmana Maharaj was asked, or perhaps it was Trivikram Maharaj, as he was the eldest. Trivikram Maharaj was asked if he would take sannyas, and he said no. When asked why, his reply was, "Look at how learned Srila Prabhupada was, and also his disciples. What a great scholar Nemi Maharaj is, how learned Shroti Maharaj is, and Guru Maharaj is. We see them all. What exalted, learned scholars they are." When Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj was asked, he said that he would not accept. So when I was asked, I also said I would not take. Quite a different culture back then than now, huh? Now everybody's eager to sannyas. Everybody thinks that they're qualified. Oh, yes, I must take sannyas. But see, even these topmost acharyas, Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj, Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj, they wouldn't accept because they felt shy that they didn't want to, all these disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta see what they're like, and we don't want to. Yeah. Anyways, so then Srila Nrsimha Maharaj, Srila Vāmana Goswami Maharaj's uncle, came to me and asked, "You will not take sannyas?" "No," I said. "Why?" "Because I am not qualified." "Are you going to decide whether or not you are qualified, or is your Gurudev going to decide that?" he asked. "Is your not wanting to take sannyas for your own, or will you take it to serve your Gurudev? What should happen? What your Gurudev wants, or what you want? If it's what you want, then why didn't you stay in family life?" Ooh, heavy. He was very persuasive. He got it into my head. So I said, "Fine, I will take what's. If Gurudev wants me to be naked, I will be naked. If he gives me sannyas, then I will take sannyas. If he gives me red cloth, I will take that. Whatever he says, I will do. I will not do anything of my own accord." So then it was decided that just I, Gaur Narayan, would take sannyas. Maharaj said, "Yes, it will just be him. No one else is ready to take." Later, as the sannyas preparations were being made, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj and Trivikram Maharaj also agreed that if Guru Maharaj wanted them to take sannyas, then they should also take. This is how the three of us were the first to take sannyas in the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. The kind of sannyas I'm seeing nowadays shows the standard has fallen. People have no knowledge of Siddhanta and no comprehension of Bhagavatam and are taking sannyas. The real qualification for sannyas is a willingness to serve Sri Guru as exemplified by the service of Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj, rendered from such an early age. Shy nature. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj is of a very shy disposition. He hardly speaks to anyone, and when he does, he speaks very little. Once I remember when we went preaching somewhere, and Guru Maharaj told Vāmana Maharaj to give class. He was so anxious about how he was going to do so. He took a volume of Śrīmad Bhagavatam and started reading a verse. His pronunciation was very beautiful. He then read the translation and went on to read another verse, and that verse's translation. Somehow like this, he got through the class. Guru Maharaj saw the shy nature of his and tried to change him gradually. Vāmana Maharaj was then in charge of publishing the Gaudiya Patrika and did whatever was required to get it published. Then Guru Maharaj told him to go preaching, and the responsibility for publication work was given to someone else. Vāmana Maharaj was very sad. He felt he was being sent away from the mat, from Chunchura. Although rather unhappy to go preaching, when he came back, he had changed completely. After that, he started giving lectures and explanations of Shastra that would go on for hours and hours. We can half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, maybe an hour, but he carries on explaining complex tattva siddhanta for hours, and in simple, understandable language, because he has such masterful command of the Bengali language and Gaudiya siddhanta. Also, he has his own unique way of refuting the misconceptions of others. He does not refute people in the way that is so apparent to them. In a very polite and humble language, he lays out every aspect of the issue, but people do not understand that he is refuting them. Expertise in relating. Hare Krishna Mitra Vrinda Didi. Okay, expertise in relating to everyone. However people approach him, he reciprocates accordingly. I saw him in Chunchura one time, sitting with the neighborhood children, telling them a ghost story, an experience he had once while traveling late at night in a remote region of Chobis Pargana. He had encountered a marriage party of ghosts in the middle of the night in a desolate cremation ground. He told the children that the only way he had escaped them, how do you say this word? Macabre? Macabre? Macabre. Oh, it's French. Okay. Macabre. So he told the children that the only way he had escaped the macabre festivities that night was because he had tulsi beads on his neck and his japamala with him and was chanting Harinam loudly. The children would then come every day to hear stories like this. Another time, while he was preaching somewhere, I saw Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja sitting with some children. This was after he had taken sannyas. They were asking him, "Can you read palms?" "Yes," he said, and they started showing him their hands. He said, "Look, your mind is restless and you have stomach problems." You can actually tell this just by looking at a person, especially if they are. Your health is not good. You have a stomach problem, and you cannot focus on your studies. Your mind is restless. Just by looking at them, he could tell something about them. People would be impressed and say, "He has mystic powers." In this way, he interacts with everyone on their level. And if true spiritual seekers come, he deals accordingly with them. Guru Maharaja's biographer and flawless scribe. Pujapad Vāmana Mahāraja's power of memory is extraordinary, and he is a very eloquent speaker and writer. What a prolific writer he is! After Guru Maharaja's disappearance, Vāmana Mahārāja compiled the history of Guru Maharaja's transcendental life. He had regularly noted down Guru Maharaja's activities and pastimes, and so he compiled this information into a biography covering Guru Maharaja's entire life, from his appearance to his disappearance. It includes accounts of Guru Maharaja's accepting the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, serving the Gaudiya Math, his nishta in Prabhupada, his developing Mayapur, his establishing Śrī Gaudivedānta Samiti, and then preaching all over India, his parikrama of various dhams and tirthas. The book also describes the pilgrimages he went on with Guru Maharaj to places like Sri Jagannath Puri, Kashi Dham, Ayodhya Dham, Vasukinath, Naimisharanya, Vaidyanath Dham, Bhadrachalam, Prayag, Mathura Mandal, Rajamandal, Dwarka, Rana Chodaji, Kurmachal, Panna Nashinga, GR Nashinga, Rameshwaram, Kanyakumari, Ahovalam, Trivandrum, Udupi, Venkateshwaram, Srirangam, and so many other places. Most importantly, the book presents Guru Maharaj's conceptions in a truly marvelous way. For the articles of Sri Gaudiya Patrika and various books that Guru Maharaj wrote, he would give dictation just once and not have to review it, because Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja would take care of everything else. Vāmana Maharaj would compile the Patrika, collecting material from various sources. Guru Maharaj would provide one essay, while Vāmana Mahārāja would see to everything else. And in those days, there was no cassettes or recorders. When Guru Maharaj would give lectures, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj would take notes. He could write very fast. Once, in a single month, in 30 days, Guru Maharaj gave lectures at 40 different places. Whenever Guru Maharaj spoke, Vāmana Maharaj would quickly note down what he was saying. All those lectures were published in the Gaudiya Patrika. He would travel everywhere with Guru Maharaj. It would be in the middle of parikrama, and Guru Maharaj would be dictating to him non-stop, without pausing. There'd be so many people around, but Vāmana Mahārāja would not miss a thing. When I came, I did not know him or anyone else. I only knew Pujapad Madhusudan Mahārāja, whose name then was Narthamananda Brahmachari. So I would write to him, and he would give my letters to Guru Maharaj to respond to. Guru Maharaj would then have Vāmana Maharaj write the responses. That is when Guru Maharaj started addressing me as Tiwariji. It was first by letter. When I came to the Mat, I did not know Vāmana Mahārāja, but I had received many letters from him on Guru Maharaj's behalf, so I knew only his handwriting. When I left everything and came to the Mat in December of 1946, I arrived at the station in Navadip and saw someone carrying a lantern looking for me. He came up to me and asked, "Are you Tiwariji?" I said, "Yes. Who?" "I am the one who has been writing you letters on behalf of Guru Maharaj." "But how did you?" I asked. "Guru Maharaj said you would be coming tonight," he said. I had not, however, written anything about coming. I had just left suddenly, arriving there in the middle of the night, around 11 via Katwa and Bardhaman. When I got there, I did not know where to go. That's when I saw him, and he took me to the Mat. Pretty mystical, huh? Guru Maharaj's deep affection for him. One time in Chunchura, when he was entering some corrections after proofreading, his hand was badly injured in the press. There was no one else there to enter the corrections. He was by himself. He had started up the press and began feeding the paper into it when somehow the press crushed his hand. His finger was badly injured. Guru Maharaj, with tears in his eyes, took him straight to Kolkata, to the medical college there. Guru Maharaj kept him there for 2 or 3 days for treatment and did not leave his side till he was better. Guru Maharaj was visibly shaken, disturbed. He was crying for him. Normally, Guru Maharaj was a very grave and composed person. He was never seen to be in such an emotional state. Another time also, when Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj fell ill, Guru Maharaj dropped everything he was doing he dropped everything he was doing to take him to Shimla for treatment. The Encyclopedia of Gaudiya Siddhanta. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj is very much a Shrutidhar, one who remembers everything he hears. He only has to hear something once to remember it, even big, long verses. The rest of us will recite a verse repeatedly, trying to memorize it, trying to grind it in and make it stick, and still we forget half the verse. I see that he is like the encyclopedia of the Gaudiya Mat Siddhanta. He can produce references from everywhere. He can even recite Bhagavad Gita all the way through without pause. He can do the same with Vedanta Sutra and all the main verses of Bhagavatam. Guru Maharaj once took 5 sannyasis and 10 to 12 brahmacharis preaching in Assam. We came to the village of Baripada, which was largely populated by the disciples of Shankaradev, who had written the so-called 13th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. His followers worshipped Bhagavan Shri Krishna, but they also ate meat, fish, and other such foodstuffs. In such a large gathering, Guru Maharaj declared that the mouths of those who perform Shri Krishna while eating meat and fish and drinking alcohol are like sewers full of stool and urine. Upon hearing this, Shankaradev's many followers began to attack the devotees on stage with sticks and stones. It was chaos, and people were scattering. But Guru Maharaj remained still and calm. "If you want to fight," he said gravely, "we too can take up sticks and stones. You should calm down and listen. Those with questions or doubts are welcome to present them." In the course of the following discussion, the followers of Shankaradev declared Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be an ordinary person, not an incarnation of Bhagavan, and requested evidence of his supreme position. Guru Maharaj then motioned to Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj, who promptly stood up and quoted around 35 verses, one after another, starting with Krishna Varnam Tvisa Krishnam and Channa Avatar, to prove that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is indeed Bhagavan. The audience was astonished and silenced. And this way, the preaching program turned out to be quite a success. Special qualities. Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja has one very special quality, which is that he never praises himself. We, somehow or other, find a way to praise ourselves, but I have never seen this in him. If I am present, he will not speak. He will just keep telling me, you speak, you speak. And I'll say, no, you, please, you speak. The audience has to sit there. The audience has to just sit there for 10 minutes watching us go back and forth like this. If I say something wrong, if I say something wrong when I speak, he will not correct me. Even after the class is over, he will not say anything. Once, when we were at the Shyam Sundar temple in Vrindavan, I said that Baladev Vijayabhushan had established the temple. But it's Sri Shyamananda Prabhu's temple. Several days later, he finally mentioned that the temple had actually been established by Shyamananda Prabhu, not Baladev Vijayabhushan. He will never directly correct or contradict me, and whenever I am with him, he will always ask me to speak. He has this manner of giving respect to me and to everyone. This is the nature of a Vaiṣṇava, to always give honor to others. Although Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja is the Acharya, he is completely devoid of the pride of being an Acharya, and throughout his life, he has always remained under the guidance of his godbrothers. That's actually because this quality of his comes out all throughout this letter book. And so that's why we gave it the title, a true master, a true servant, a true master. Because really his quality of being just a servant of his Guru Padma was so strong on him. He didn't have any kind of abhiman as being an Acharya. During Navadvip Parikrama, before he gives initiations, he comes to Srila Trivikram Maharaj and me and says, "O Maharaj, please give me permission to give initiations." I once sent Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja a letter requesting him to come to Mathura because so many people there wanted to take Harinam and Diksha initiation. He wrote back saying, "I told you long ago, and I'm telling you again, that you yourself should, without hesitation, give Harinam and Diksha initiation. My health is not good. If you do this, it will save me from having to travel, and the preaching there will not be." How rare it is to find a Vaishnavacharya like him, who, with trust and magnanimity, instructs his godbrother to give Harinam and Diksha. These days, so many quarrels take place over this issue. Pujapad Maharaj is also a very Pujapad Maharaj is also very discreet in how he gives money to people. No one knows what or how much he gives or to whom. After Guru Maharaj's disappearance, I was doing some renovation work in Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math. Oh God, there's some memories in the Bhagavat Patrika where people. Anyways, we can talk about that later. But I'm showing this point. After Guru Maharaj's disappearance, I was doing some renovation work in Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math. We were not receiving many donations as we were not really acquainted with anyone in Mathura at that time. I did not know how I was going to manage. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj found out, and without telling anyone, very discreetly gave 5,000 rupees towards the project. That was how the renovation started, and slowly able to do all this. Pranami comes to him, but he does not advertise what he gives and to whom. You should give with one hand in such a way that your other hand does not know. Yeah, there's somebody, Bhakti Vaibhav Sagar Maharaj, who is the Acharya of the Mat in, where is it? Ruddradweep, near Daigat. And he said that Srila Vāmana, he's I'm not sure he's a disciple of, I think he might be a disciple of either Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja or Bhakti Kusum Shravan Gosvāmī Mahārāja. I don't. Yeah. Anyways, and he said that Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja invited him to a program and he gave him huge donation, like massive donation, and towards the mutt. And I can't remember the whole story clear enough, so we'll probably translate it at some point. Anyways, and do not even ask about his affection for his disciples. He has so much affection for them. He speaks so affectionately with each of them that each disciple feels that he loves him or her the most. He loves them so much. I do not know how to love so much. He really knows how to love. And though he has this affection for his disciples, he is still very detached. Oh, you have to read this letter book by Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, because that comes through the letters so strongly, how much love he has for each disciple. And just some simple housewife in a remote village in Bengal, he'll write like the longest letter to her by hand, and giving such like that, a letter that could be published in any book, like an article that could be published in Gaudiya Patrika or something. But just for one single person, he'd go through all that trouble and write again and again to that person. No, it's anyways. So the following is from a written glorification on the first anniversary of Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's disappearance, presented in the Rays of the Harmonist, Kartik 2005. Advocating bhajan in the mood of Radha Das. Sometimes, especially during Navadip Parikrama, Pujapad Trivikram Maharaj and I would have loving quarrels. They would even take place on the stage, in public. He would cut my arguments, and I would cut his. Once in the this is Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj, yeah, okay. So once in the course of one such quarrel, I presented Madhurya Ras according to the conception of Srila Rupa Goswami. My point was that on the strength of their Sri Radha, her maidservants do not even care to serve Sri Krishna. I quoted the shloka, Naparayeham Niravadya Samyujam, Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:32-22, when Sri Krishna is saying, O gopis, even if I lived as long as Lord Brahma or any other demigod, I would not be able to repay my debt to you. I also quoted Gita Govinda 10:19-8, where Sri Krishna says, Smara Garala Kandanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam Dehi Pada Palavam Udaram. My beloved, offer the fresh buds of your enchanting feet as the ornament upon my head. Perspective of Tattva, Sri Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, but due to the excellence of Ashraya Jatiya Prem, the prem experienced by devotees, he becomes indebted to Srimati Radhika and begs for her forgiveness. Pujapad Trivikram Maharaj then refuted my statements and established the Bhagavata, the godliness and importance of Sri Krishna. In this way, there ensued sweet debates between us. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj, the chairman, witnessed our loving quarrels, and he spoke his conclusion. Radha Paksha Chari Je Jana Se Jan Je Bhave She Bhave Thake Ami To Radhika Paksha Pati Sada Kabhu Nahi Heri Thake. I am forever in the group of Sri Radhaji. Whoever is not a part of Radha's group can be and do as they like. This is a conception of the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. Performing bhajan with the inclination to serve Srimati Radhika is the best type of bhajan. It cannot be said that no one is qualified to perform this bhajan. In this world, there is always a Rupa Nuga Vaiṣṇava who is capable of doing such bhajan. Past, present, and future, there will always be someone with this qualification. To say otherwise is incorrect, because the world would face destruction if in the presence of such a qualified person. His philosophical perspective made a substantial impression on the audience. Absorption in Vipralamba Bhajan. After the disappearance of our Guru Maharaj, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj was always absorbed in performing bhajan in a mood of deep separation, Vipralamba. So much so that when his disciples came to him to discuss any issue, especially in relation to management, he would say, "Go to Narayan Maharaj, and he will address your problem." For 2 or 3 years before his disappearance, he completely withdrew from the external world, absorbing himself internally in Nam Bhajan. Sometimes he was overwhelmed with ecstasy and would call out, "Oh Thakurani, have mercy on me! Thakurani, mercy, have mercy!" He would even cry this out as he slept. Disappearance and Samadhi. We'll end with this. In 2004, some days before his disappearance from this world, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj was staying on the bank of the river Ganga at a place called Baidyabati, a short distance from Kolkata. Even though his health was poor, he journeyed to Sri Devananda Gaudiya and Sri observed Kartik Vrat. And Kartik, on the day of Gora Tritiya, he entered into Shri Shri Radhakrishna's eternal pastimes. On this day, I was at Sri Govardhan performing our annual Sri Vrajmandal Parikrama with 1,000 or so participants. When I heard the news, I went to Navadip Dham. I had been informed of a scheduled time for his Samadhi ceremony, but it was performed ahead of schedule before I arrived. This was quite disconcerting for me, and for some of my this was quieting for me and for some of my god brothers. Nonetheless, I went there and, accompanied by kirtan, performed worship and parikrama of his samadhi. I lived with Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj for almost 60 years and had the opportunity to closely observe and understand him. He possessed all the qualities that are inherent in a Vaishnava. By nature, he was simple, grave, humble, tolerant, overflowing with Guru Nishta, and inclined to serve the Vaishnavas. This situated him on the highest level of bhakti. His Guru Nishta was astounding. With his life in his hands, he would step forward and offer himself in the service of Guru Maharaj. Guru Nishta is the backbone of bhakti. I have seen many Guru Sevaks, but Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj's service to Guru Maharaj with his body, mind, words, and sentiments was extraordinary. In this world, such a Guru Sevak is rare. We pray to him that while engaged in the eternal service of Sri Gurudev and Shri Shri Radhakrishna, he be merciful upon us. He be merciful upon us all, so that we can also perform Guru Seva with Nishta like him, and thus dedicate our lives to Shri Guru and his mission. Jai Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirava Titi ki jai. Okay, so this 2 sections also are so beautiful. Like really, I don't know how to express how beautiful they are, but I really want to read them, but I think it's too late to read now. We've gone past an hour already. And so I think I'll read this in the evening time. Yeah, which will be the morning time for those of you in the West. But yeah, really, if you're able, please come and join that reading, because I can share this with you if you want to read it on your own. It's so beautiful. I really highly recommend you read this. And what is another thing? Oh, let's just quickly read something about Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj, because it's his disappearance day too. And I don't think my Gurudev would be happy if we didn't also glorify his most dear friend, Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj. So I'm going to read a short thing from one of the Rays of the Harmonist issues. Let me find. I don't remember which issue. What year did Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj enter Nitya Lila? Was it 2003? It's this one. No, it was in 2002. Yeah, Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj entered the year before. I remember it now. I was there for both times. Let's read it in preview. Okay. Let me just check the comments really quick. Yes, Rukmini D, that's a whole pastime actually, the marriage party of ghosts. That is a really... Macabre. Okay, macabre. Macabre. Okay, new word. All right, so let's read this. It's short. It's not too long. How come it's not giving me an option to view single page? Huh. Okay, anyways. So this is a Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja by my Srila Gurudev. Okay. This is going to be difficult for you to read because its text is so small. Anyways. Disappearance day of Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja, 7 November 2002 by Śrīmad Mahārāja. In the afternoon on November 7th, the Vrajmandal Parikrama party organized by the Śrī Gaudivedanta Samiti with the auspicious blessings of my Diksha Guru Padma, Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and under the guidance of my Shiksha Guru Padma, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, reached Vaiṣṇava from the lap of Giriraj Govardhan. Upon arriving, we heard the shocking news. My Shiksha Gurudev, Prapuja Charan Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja, had just left this world. The disappearance of Srila Trivikram Maharaj has caused immense pain in our hearts and drowned us in an ocean of separation. That very evening and great bereavement, all the assembled devotees held a Viraha Sabha, separation meeting, in his honor, under the guidance of Srila Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja. The following is the heartfelt Puspanjali given by Srila Maharaj at the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja. So this is my Gurudev's Katha. I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Śrī Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, to all the Vaishnavas and to Sri Gauranga. By the causeless mercy of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, the first 15 days of our Niyam Seva Kartik Vrat have passed without a problem. They have passed sweetly and happily. Today, however, we received very sad news. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Srila Rai Ramananda, Dukha madhe kona dukha hoy gurutar, Krishna bhakta viraha vina dukha nahi deki par. That's Madhya Lila 8:248. Sri Mahaprabhu asked Sri Rai Ramananda, what is the worst type of suffering? Sri Ramananda Rai replied, Vaiṣṇava viraha. Para means the highest or greatest. The greatest or most grievous suffering is Vaiṣṇava viraha, separation from pure Vaishnavas. After the disappearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, my Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, along with a few others, established the Gaudivedanta Samiti, and Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj was one of the founding members. Guru Maharaj had already taken sannyas and had been preaching for a long time. But now he established the new Gaudivedanta Samiti's headquarters in Navadip and began preaching through the Samiti. Guru Maharaj had three prominent sevaks, Param Pujapad Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Mahārāja, Pujapad Śrī Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Mahārāja, and I. We began to serve him totally with our lives and souls, ready to risk our lives. From the very beginning, Pujapad Vāmana Mahārāja, Pujapad Trivikram Mahārāja, and I were made the three pillars of the Gaudivedanta Samiti by my Guru Maharaj. At that time, Srila Parijatak Maharaj was not with us. He joined after some time. Srila Vāmana Maharaj especially served Srila Guru Maharaj in so many ways. He was the publisher of our Gaudiya Patrika monthly magazine and of many other literatures. He was also Guru Maharaj's scribe and would take dictations for his correspondence, articles, and books. Even before I joined, when I was a police officer and had never personally met Guru Maharaj, Gurudev would write to me with great love and affection. He would dictate his letters, addressing me as Tiwariji, because I came from a high-class Brahmin family with the surname Tiwari. Then, after I joined and until I was initiated, Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj would also call me Tiwariji. Srila Vāmana Maharaj was like the mother of the Bhaktivedānta Samiti. He took care of everyone in the mat and supplied whatever anyone needed, like prasadam, clothing, and so on. As for Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj, he was very, very qualified. Our Guru was in charge of publications, and he put Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj in charge of organizing all the preaching, and his services included sending other preachers to various districts of Bengal. Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj would personally go collecting and preaching, especially in the district of Bardhaman. And through him, Guru Maharaj did a great deal of preaching in Medinipur, Chobis Pargana, and other places. From when I first joined, Śrīla Vāmana Maharaj showed great affection upon me. However, Param Pujapad Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj showed me even more familial affection. Our Guru Maharaj placed me in his hands, and we became very close. It was Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj who taught me how to perform kirtan, how to preach, and how to collect donations. Sometimes, in a very loving way, he would also rebuke me. In all the years that I spent with Guru Maharaj, I was never rebuked by my Gurudev. But with so much love and affection, Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj used to do so. We had such a close connection that sometimes our discussions would become very heated. I would counter his arguments, and he would counter mine, and our Guru Maharaj would kindly support me by taking my side. Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj used to preach. Śrīla Trivikram Gosvāmī Maharaj used to preach all over. Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj used to preach all over India, and when he would go to preach with our Guru Maharaj, I was Guru Maharaj's sevak. I would massage him, cook for him, wash his clothes, and carry a lantern for him because there was no electricity at that time. And I performed many other services. Sometimes I made mistakes, and at those times, Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj would protect me. For some time, it was a regular procedure that in each village, along with his lectures, Guru Maharaj would present a slideshow depicting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other great personalities. I once forgot to bring the slide projector, and when I realized this, I was in great anxiety that Guru Maharaj would be upset with me. Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj asked what was wrong, and when I told him, he said, "Don't worry, I will handle the matter. I will take care of everything for you." Later on, when our Guru Maharaj was ready to give his lecture and his slideshow presentation, he asked Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj, "So, is everything ready?" Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj replied, "Oh, today is a very cloudy day and it may rain. If you also show the slides, the program will take a long time. The rain may come and everyone will leave before you have completed your class." Guru Maharaj asked him, "Then what should I do?" Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj replied, "Why not just give the class?" And Guru Maharaj was satisfied to do that. Years later, Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj reminded me of this incident and asked me if I remembered it. And I said yes. And we happily and tightly embraced one another. We're almost at the end. Guru Maharaj entered Nitya Lila in October 1968, but internally, he is always looking after us and encouraging us. Externally, Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj took the place of my Guru Maharaj in the sense that he encouraged me in all my activities. When I went preaching in the West and writing and translating books, I would write to Param Pujapad Śrīla Vāmana Maharaj, Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj, and others for advice. But they are because they are all very qualified preachers. Śrīla Trivikram Maharaj would reply to my letters without delay. He would encourage me and inspire me to write more books and to preach all over the world. Pujapad Vāmana Maharaj is the present Acharya of the Bhaktivedānta Samiti, and he remains very busy with many grave responsibilities. He is always very happy with my preaching, but sometimes he is sick and therefore cannot always answer my letters. Pujapad Trivikram Maharaj, on the other hand, usually remains in one place, and he always replied without delay. I cannot forget him. I consider both Srila Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Mahārāja and Srila Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Mahārāja to be my Shiksha Gurus. They supported, nourished, and inspired me, so much so that I cannot express my feelings in words. However, in my relationship with Pujapad Trivikram Mahārāja, we used to sleep together, quarrel together over philosophy. We loved each other, and we loved each other in so many ways. Sometimes we presented different ideas and we countered each other's arguments, but he greatly honored me. Although I was giving honor to him as a shiksha, sometimes in his last days, he used to offer me shastang pranam. He even used to offer pranams to my sandals when I was not present before him. No one else could have done this. He was so polite and humble. He was a senior Vaiṣṇava in all respects, and he could help the entire world. But he used to write to me, "We cannot do the services you are doing for Gurudev, so I especially favor you and praise you. May you preach for a long time. May you write and publish many books." He was a great poet, scholar, and astrologer. He has written an arti of our Guru Maharaj, which is sung every evening in Navadip Dham, wherein he expressed his extreme humility. He wrote that devotees are singing and doing many wonderful services to Gurudev, but he alone is not. He wrote, "Oh, I am so unworthy. I do not serve Gurudev like Sajan Sevak, Pujapad Srila Vāmana Mahārāja's name before sannyas, or Gaur Narayan, Pujapad Srila Narayan Mahārāja's name before sannyas. And therefore I behold their services from a distance." That's how the last verse of that arti song ends. He was a Nishkinchan Vaishnav. He did not accept any disciples. We have lost one of the pillars of the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti today, but I feel some relief knowing that he left during this Kartik month and Shukla Paksha, the bright fortnight, during Niyam Seva Vrat, and that he was in Navadip Dham. Also, he left during the time of Madhyan Lila, that's 12:25 p.m., at the time of Amrita Yoga and an auspicious time of the day according to the movement of the sun and moon. It was also Tritiya Tithi, one of the auspicious days of the fortnight. He inspired us to observe Anukut Mahotsav, Deepavali, and Bhatri Dvitiya. Internally, in my heart, Srila Trivikram Maharaj told me that he would leave this world after we observed those festivals. It was a wonderful thing. Otherwise, if he had left before, we would have been absorbed in thoughts and activities related to him, and we would not have been able to properly observe those important holy functions. Now, being the representative of you all, I am offering my heartfelt Puspanjali at his lotus feet. I think he has been placed in Samadhi today on the bank of the holy Ganges in Sri Navadip Dham. Where is he now? He will be in Navadip Dham or Vrajadham. He was always especially inclined towards Mahaprabhu in Navadip Dham, and therefore I think that he is there. I pray for all of us that he will be very merciful to me and to all of you, and that he will inspire us and give us blessings so that we can try to serve Shri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnav, and do bhajan as he did. Jai Srila Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Tatiya Shubha Tirubhav Titi ki jai. There's a beautiful book, what is it called? Of A Life of Humble Service. I think that's what it's called. It's about Srila Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja. You could find it on Pure Bhakti. It's a beautiful book, describes his whole life, different pastimes and things about him. Yeah. All right, so it's quite late now, almost 9 o'clock in the morning. Thank you so much for staying with me for this long reading today. Okay, with that word. And I will go live again to read these two other beautiful, beautiful, beautiful articles about one about Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's life history. It's extraordinary, really. And also how he exemplified the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, giving a different pastime, showing each one of these 26 qualities being how he personified each one of them. So yeah, please join me for that. That will be this evening. Probably read at maybe, I'm guessing, 6:30 p.m. Yeah. Hare Krishna, everybody. I'm going to end now. Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai, jai Srila Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Tadil Shubha Tirobhaptiti ki jai, Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Srila Param Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Saparshad Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva ki jai, Saparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Kari Devi Satyavataya Namo Namah Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna. See you all in about 10 hours from now, something like that. Hare Bol.